This video is going to make a percentage of you very, very angry. I'm just warning you now. I have a lot of experience in discussing this particular topic, and I know from experience that a lot of you more right-wing people, a lot of you more traditional religious type guys, a lot of you more traditional conservative type guys, some of you beta males who are in a brand new monogamous relationship with some brand new girlfriend, or some of you recently married guys, some of you guys who just got married, not you guys who've been married for many years, you guys will agree with me. But you guys who just got married, a bunch of you are going to be really upset by the end of this video, and that's okay. Just be aware of it, and let's dive into it. In this video, I'm actually going to go through every single objection to non-monogamy that I have ever heard over the past 11 years of me discussing this publicly on the internet. There's about 47 items on this list. I'm going to go through every single one of them. I'm going to use a list that I published about 6 years ago, and I'm going to update the list. So this is the updated list in terms of responses to objections I get regarding I would never do non-monogamy, I would never have a non-monogamous relationship, I would never have an open marriage, I would never, ever. I'm going to go through every possible objection you could possibly have and address them with facts. And by the end of this video, you will be very educated as to why long-term sexual monogamy doesn't work and there are less bad options for you in your life. As always, I am Caleb Jones. This is Alpha Male 2.0, freedom-focused lifestyle design for men. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We do 5 videos a week here on how to make both your business life and your woman life more free, because you need both. We are also doing an online course giveaway right now. This is my online course on how you can develop your location-independent income. That normally retails for about $1,400, and you might be able to get it for free. All you need to do is like this video, be a subscriber here at YouTube, and leave a comment on this video, and we'll enter your name in the drawing, and on a regular basis I will announce the winner at the YouTube community feed here at this YouTube channel. Now, before I get into the 47 objections and their answers, I need to cover some basics on what I'm saying. So what I am saying is long-term sexual monogamy does not work. Human beings were never, ever designed for it, and if you talk to biologists, they will tell you exactly that. They will say it very quietly because a lot of them are monogamous or married too. But they will say, yes, human beings are not monogamous creatures. They are pair bonding creatures, but not monogamous creatures. I will talk about that in a minute. Actually, I'll roll into that right now. When I say I am against monogamy, I am not saying I am against pair bonding. Pair bonding is fine. We are pair bonding creatures. If you want to have a girlfriend, if you want to have a wife, if you want to settle down, if you want to have kids, that's great. Do all those things and have sex with other women on the side. Pair bonding does not require monogamy. I am pair bonded. I am married. And I have sex with other women who are not my wife pretty much every week. I also have children. Yes. So you can, and I agree with the traditional conservatives on this, when the traditional guys say, look, a couple, a man and a woman raising kids together in a core family, the family unit is best for society. That is correct. That's true. I'm not against that. I have that myself. The problem is you making that promise that you're never going to have sex with any other woman for the rest of your life, and then expecting your wife to never have sex with any other man for the rest of her life. Sex, or at least sexual activity. That's stupid. We were never designed for this. The real divorce rate right now, in terms of your odds of getting divorced, this is not the per capita divorce rate because that's useless. The real divorce rate is somewhere around 76%. And you could argue, and many have argued, that that actually is too low. It's actually 78 or 79%. So the odds are 76% that you're going to get divorced at some point if you get married under a traditional monogamous structure. Outside of marriage, how many boyfriend-girlfriend couples last forever? They don't. You eventually break up or cheat. Right? Right. Okay. That's the first thing. Second thing, when I'm talking about sexual monogamy not working, I am talking about the Western world in the 21st century. I am not talking about 1952. I am not talking about what worked back in the 1700s. Occasionally, I will get more religious guys or traditional guys say, what are you talking about? Monogamy's worked great for hundreds of years. I have news for you. You don't live hundreds of years ago. You live today in the collapsing Western world in the 21st century in the 2020s. And unfortunately, in this era, long-term sexual monogamy does not work. I am talking about today. I'm not talking about what happened hundreds of years ago. Plus, we could argue that monogamy still didn't work hundreds of years ago because men were cheating on their wives and just the wives put up with it and didn't get divorced. If you are married and cheating, you are not monogamous. Newsflash, if you are married and cheating, you are not monogamous, and you have proven my point. Monogamy doesn't work. First aspect. Second aspect to that piece is I'm talking about the Western world. I am not talking about more traditional countries like India or Taiwan or what have you. These countries, yes, have much lower divorce rates at the moment than the West. By the way, in all of these countries throughout Asia, throughout India, divorce rates, by the way, are skyrocketing. They're going way up, and if you live in Asia or India, you know what I'm talking about. So pretty soon the entire world will suck at monogamy. That's just the way this is going. But regardless, I am talking here about the Western world. When I talk about long-term monogamy not working, invariably, and I'm sure I'll get them in the comments in this video, I will get some guy or a few guys say, what are you talking about? Everyone I know has been married their whole lives and no one gets divorced. And I'll say, do you live in the Western world? They go, no, I live in Taiwan. I'm not talking about Taiwan, I'm talking about the Western world. This does not apply or necessarily apply to places outside of the Western world. And when I mean Western world, I'm talking about United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, maybe Israel. I'm talking about those regions. If you live outside of those regions, some of these statistics I'm about to present to you may not apply. I am not talking about those regions. Cool? Cool. All right. As long as you understand those two things. Pair bonding is good. Monogamy is bad. Doesn't work. I'm talking only about the 21st century and the Western world. Awesome? Awesome. All right. So when I say monogamy doesn't work, you should pursue something non-monogamous. Non-monogamous relationships, open relationships, whatever. There's lots of different flavors to non-monogamy. I teach a few of them. I don't teach all of them. Well, when I go through these things, I get invariably the excuses. All the excuses come out. Well, I would never do that because. Here we go. And these are listed in no particular order. So I'm just going to go through them as they're listed. This is actually the old article on my blog. I'm going to go through each of these items and update each one. So the first one at the top, and again, no particular order. What about having someone care for you in your old age? Don't you want someone to care for you in your old age? Of course you should get married to make sure someone cares for you in your old age. What did I just say earlier about the divorce rate? The real divorce rate is somewhere around 76%. That means if you get married in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or even 50s, and your intention is that person to stay with you into your 80s or 70s or 90s to take care of you, there's a 76% chance that person will not make it that long. You will get divorced before you get old. So if you want someone to take care of you in your old age, you know what you should do? Get traditionally monogamously married in your old age. My dad just got married last year, the year before, about 2 years ago. And I was fine with it. Matter of fact, I emceed his wedding. What? You're against monogamy. It was a traditional monogamous marriage. Well, why did I do that? Because he's 80. He will die before he gets divorced. And he'd be the first one to tell you that if he was sitting right here. Right? By the way, on top of that, in terms of taking care of you in your old age, he married a woman who is 20 years younger than him and who is a nurse. Great. If you want someone to take care of you in your old age, wait till you're fucking old and then get traditionally monogamously married, because by the time someone cheats, if that even happens, if you're even able to have sex at that point, or by the time you would get divorced, one of you will be dead. Okay? Makes sense? But the concept of getting married in your 20s or 30s or 40s, even 50s, saying, oh, this person's going to be around for the next 57 years to take care of me. Not in a world where we have 76% divorce rate. Sorry. That's ridiculous. Okay. Number two, I don't want to get STDs. I'm scared of getting an STD. I have been consistently non-monogamous for 13 years. Consistently non-monogamous, having sex on a weekly basis with multiple women for 13 years with no monogamy and no dry spells. I just got my STD test last, 6 weeks ago. I'm perfectly clean, and I get tested for everything. Perfectly clean. How do you explain that? Well, they have these really cool things. You may have heard of them. They're called condoms. And you put one on your dick, and you can have sex with all these women and not get an STD. It's great. They have another thing called blood tests. I go in twice a year, and I get blood tested for all possible STDs. I've been doing this for many years. It's just part of my routine. I don't even think about it anymore. So when you have things like condoms and blood tests, and by the way, the women you have sex with can also get blood tests. If you say, well, I don't want to wear condoms the rest of my life, we'll address that excuse too. They can get blood tested too. We don't live in Little House in the Prairie times. There are mechanisms in place you can use to make sure that you're a responsible adult and you don't get STDs. I have never had a serious problem with STDs my entire life because I'm responsible and I'm an adult. All right, number three. I can't trust my partner to wear a condom every time they have sex with someone else. That's bullshit. So you're in a serious relationship with a person you can't trust? If that's the case, you have much bigger problems than monogamy. You would not be in a serious relationship with someone unless you trusted them. And if you're in a serious relationship or marriage with someone you can't trust, you're a fucking moron, and monogamy is not the issue. Number 4, not settling down and or never getting married and or never having kids is selfish. One of the biggest problems that a lot of people are worried about right now is what? In terms of the future of the human race and the future of the world is overpopulation. I am sorry, but getting married and having kids is, in many respects, one of the most selfish things you can do. Don't bullshit me. Don't tell me that you want to have kids because you want to help the world. You want to have kids, for those of you who want kids, and if you want kids, that's fine. I have 2 kids. But if you want kids, be honest. You want kids because you want kids. You're being selfish, which is fine. But don't bullshit me about, oh my God, if you don't have kids, you're being selfish somehow. What are you talking about? All right. Number 5, monogamy is the best way to raise children. Well, if this was the 1950s, which this isn't, and the divorce rate was 7 or 8%, you would be correct. That would be the best way to raise children. Is that true today? Is the divorce rate 7 or 8% today in the Western world? No, it's 76% or so, depending on various factors and regions. It's around that. That means if you get married and have kids, there's a 76% chance that you will get divorced and fuck up those kids. So I am sorry, that excuse doesn't work in a society with 76% divorce rates. That excuse does work in areas or cultures that have a very low divorce rate. That does not describe the Western world. I'm sorry. Number 6, that divorce rate applies to guys with bad taste who don't know how to pick a quality woman. I hear this a lot. I am intelligent, and I'm a genius, and I'm an alpha male, and I will screen for a woman who will make a great wife and a great mother. Wonderful. Please give me the name of 10 men you know in the red pill community, the manosphere world, your church, who did that and had it work. In other words, give me the name of 10 guys who screened for a perfect wife, a perfect mother, got married. It is now 17 years later, not 2 or 3 years, not 5 years. It's 17 years later, 15 years later, 22 years later. They are still married and they are happy. Not just that they're married and they're happy and they're still together. Everything's great. Give me 10 names, please. Go ahead. Oh, I have a feeling you can't name one. Maybe you can name 1 or 2. And by the way, guys who say, well, I know one guy who made it work. Thank you for proving my point. When you use the exception to the rule to make your point, you've just proven mine. You know, out of the 40, 50, 60 married couples, you know 1 who's made it work. Thank you for proving my point. Well, God damn it, okay, I know 2 or 3. Okay, out of the 40 or 50 or 60 married couples you know 2 or 3 who have made it work. You see my point? You see how the statistics work here? So no. This is what's called guy Disney. That won't happen to me. That happens to everyone else, but it won't happen to me. The reason it happens to so many people is because everybody says that. And there's no data to suggest, none that I've seen, and I've done a lot of research on this. There is no data whatsoever that shows men actually going through and screening through with men in the modern era now, not 1950s. Remember, I'm talking about the modern era. There is no data that shows millions of men who have mastered the art of screening for this perfect wife, this perfect mother, and they marry her, and they're married for decades, and it works out great. There is no data on this. I'm sorry. Number 7. There is one thing a man doesn't get unless he's married, or let's say a serious relationship, and that is a commitment. See, if you're just dating around, you're not getting a commitment, but if you're married, that's a commitment. That was true a long time ago when the divorce rate was 7 or 6%. Today it's 76%. Today, a woman in the Western world can divorce you whenever she wants, for any reason she wants, and she will be supported by the law and she will be supported by all of her friends and family. So that is not a commitment anymore. I'm sorry, traditional marriage is no longer a commitment, not in the Western world. And it hasn't been for many, many, many decades. I'm amazed that people actually give this excuse, but occasionally some guys do. All right, number 8. Having a bunch of open relationships is too much work. Dating all these girls, oh my God, that's just too much work. I get this excuse a lot. I have addressed this many times. I'm happy to do it again. The alpha male 2.0 model means you are having sex with at least 2 women. 2. Is 2 a lot? 1, 2. Is that a lot of women? No, 2. If you're having sex with 2 women, that's non-monogamy and you're covered. So you could have 1 woman you're dating, like an MLTR or a serious girlfriend, OLTR, and 1 FB on the side. That's all you need. And you can see your FB maybe once a month if you want. Perfectly fine. That's all you need. This fantasy, or this negative fantasy, that in order to be non-monogamous, you have to be banging 12 women at all times is just silliness. That's stupid. Of course you don't want to do that long term. I mean, I don't want to do that. I'm too old. I'm almost 50. Why would I want to do that? No. One main girl and one FB on the side is all you need, and that is accomplishable by any man watching this video. I am not suggesting anything that is impossible or only available to super wealthy men or super good looking men or what have you. You don't. Now, if you want to have sex with more than 2 women, go ahead. You don't need to. So this excuse is completely invalid. Doesn't make any sense. Number 9, I don't believe in cheating. Good, neither do I. I have never cheated on a woman in my entire life. I have never promised monogamy and had sex or gotten sexual with a woman behind that woman's back. I have literally never done that in my entire life. I'm one of the few men I know who can say this. Because most men I know can't say this. I don't cheat. You know why? It's not because I'm this honorable, moral, ethical guy with a lot of self-control. That's not why. It's because I don't get monogamous. I'm not stupid enough, or in many cases dishonest enough, to make the promise to a woman that, okay, I will never touch another woman for the rest of our relationship ever, sweetheart. I don't make that promise. Instead, I say quite the opposite. I say, look, I really like you. You're great. We're great together, but I'm a guy. And occasionally I'm going to go get some on the side. I'll be careful. I'll wear condoms. I'll get STD tests. I'm going to keep it discreet and on and on and on. But I don't promise monogamy. Therefore, I don't cheat. Cheating is not when you're in a relationship where one or both of you are allowed to have sex with other people on the side. That's not cheating. Cheating is making the promise for monogamy and then lying to that person and going behind that person's back and fucking someone else. That's cheating, and that is bad. I do not recommend or endorse cheating. I never have. The Alpha Male 2.0 doesn't need to cheat. Cheating is for beta males and Alpha Male 1.0s, guys who commit to monogamy and go, oh shit, now what do I do? And then they cheat on the side and they hope they don't get caught, and then they always get caught, and then they have drama and problems. Make sense? All right. Number 10. She will complain that I haven't asked her to be my girlfriend yet. So if I date a woman for months and months and months and months, and I'm dating other women, she'll eventually not like that. That is correct. If you go to haveopenrelationships.com, you will find my book, The Ultimate Open Relationships Manual, and I teach in that book a very strongly field-tested system where you bring the woman through 4 phases, and there's ways you can manage this need for her to want to be your girlfriend or be more serious or be monogamous. That's just part of the process that I teach. Yes, that is very normal, and it's not a big deal. I have had numerous MLTRs. These were not girlfriends, but women I was dating. Numerous scores of them over the past 13 years that dated me for years and years and years and years, even when some of them wanted something more serious and some of them didn't. It's a workable model. That's one answer. The second answer is OLTR means she is your girlfriend. So if you like her and she qualifies, and I talk about that in my books and blogs too, you can make her your girlfriend. I have a wife. So for her, it worked out. She wanted to be my girlfriend, she wanted to be my wife, and it worked. She's now my wife. So you can have girlfriends and wives under this model. It's perfectly fine. All right, number 11. A girl cannot fully trust and commit to you if you keep having sex with other girls. Millions of men all over the Western world who have OLTRs, either girlfriends or in my case a wife, would disagree with you. My wife, Pink Firefly, fully trusts me and is fully committed to me. We've been together for 6 years. We've been married for almost 3. It's great. And I am not the only one. There are millions of other men who have done this. They're very quiet about it. They're not like me. They don't tell people on YouTube or on the internet that they're doing this because they're scared of societal programming and all that bullshit. They're outcome dependent, unfortunately. But it's not a problem. If you structured the relationship correctly, if you're a trustworthy person, if you're an adult, if you're responsible, if you don't lie to her, if it's very clear what you're doing, on and on and on. I talk about that in all of my books and my blogs, the Ultimate Open Relationships Manual specifically, and the Ultimate Open Marriage Manual. Both those things I talk about in detail, how to make these relationships work. It does work. She can fully trust and commit as long as you do this correctly. And here's the problem. Most guys who do non-monogamy do it wrong. They do it wrong. And that's actually one of the impetuses for why I started this company many years ago. Is I saw a lot of people do non-monogamous relationships, but they were doing it all wrong. They had all kinds of drama and problems and chaos. I don't have these problems. I don't have drama, I don't have chaos, and neither do you, and neither do you guys who follow Alpha 2.0 models. All right, cool. Number 12. Oh, I hear this one a lot. I don't have time to date all my girls and keep looking for new girls every day. It's the same thing I said earlier. 2. You don't need a lot of girls. 2. Have one main girl and one side girl. Or if you want really casual, 2 side girls. That's it. I also teach in my models that you only see, unless she's your OLTR, you only see her once a week. So you see, one girl every other week. And then you have plenty of time to meet new girls if you want for you younger guys. Get this thing out of your head that you have to have sex with a lot of girls or bang a lot of girls. You don't. All right, number 13. Here's probably the biggest one, maybe on this list. Okay, damn it. All this stuff is probably true, and I agree. Monogamy usually doesn't work. But I just can't handle it if the woman in my life is out having sex with other guys. Now, I list 4 things here. I'm going to give you a better answer, because this is the big objection. Okay, you're fine. All right, you're right. Monogamy doesn't work. And yes, I'll probably cheat. Yes, I'll probably get divorced. Blah, 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 blah. But I just, if she fucks another guy, I just, my ego, my fragile little baby ego, I'm going to start crying. All right, let me address that. Number 1, if she is young and you're in a non-monogamous relationship, if she's in her early 20s, early to mid 20s, yes, she's going to fuck other guys. Should you care? I want you to think about this. This is a topic for another time outside the scope of this video. If you're dating a 19-year-old girl, should you give a shit if she's fucking other guys? She's a 19-year-old girl. Should you get into serious, long-term, committed relationships with 19-year-olds? No. I've talked about this many times. I've given the stats. I've given the reasons. Should you get into a serious, long-term, committed relationship with a girl who's 21 or 20? No. And if you do, you're stupid, even if you are 20. I've talked about this ad infinitum. I'm not going to go into detail about that. But if you are dating a younger woman, yes, I've dated many younger women, and the vast majority of them, yes, hooked up with other guys. I didn't care because they were young. I don't give a fuck. They were not serious relationships. The last thing you want to do is to go around and have serious, committed relationships with long-term expectations with women in their late teens or early 20s. That is a recipe for disaster, and you're fucking stupid if you even try that. Now, let's go to older women, women over the age of 30, 33. Are these women going to be out and banging other dudes? Sometimes yes, generally no. They don't want to. I've talked about many times on my blogs and my books how ASD, anti-slut defense, that things that makes them not want to have sex with guys too quickly, ASD rises as a woman's age rises, and it spikes at age 33. My wife is 40. She's 40 years old. Do you think that this 40-year-old woman, my wife, who is a practicing Christian, is on Tinder looking for guys to fuck? Do you really think that's how she spends her time? Do you really think she wants to do that? Do you really think she's going out to bars and clubs looking to hook up with dudes? No. Older women generally don't do this. And there are exceptions. Yes, there are always exceptions. That's true. Even on the exceptions, if you're with a woman who is not young and she hooks up with another guy, women, as I've talked about in my books, especially The Unchained Man, when it comes to sexual patterns in their lives, women are dynamic. Men are static. So sometimes she goes through a horny phase and sometimes she doesn't want to have sex. So if she has sex with another guy, it's not something she will be doing consistently. Believe me, she doesn't want to. We, men, will be having sex consistently with other women. Oh yeah, we're guys. That's how we work. But women are not men. And guys who make this excuse are operating under the assumption that women's sexual patterns operate just like men's do, and they don't. Next answer to this. Once it happens once or twice, because I have some experience doing this, I've been in non-monogamous relationships with all ages. Once it happens once or twice, the first time is the worst. The second time is a little less bad. By the third or fourth time, you don't really give a shit. Again, especially if she's younger. You don't really care. You've never gone through this, so you don't know what it's like. It's not as big as you think. It really isn't. It's not a big deal. Next answer. You shouldn't be giving a shit too much about what your woman is doing when you're not around. You should be focused on yourself. You should be focused on your mission. You should be focused on your goals. I have a very exciting mission in my life. I have very exciting goals and projects and plans. It is very difficult for me, probably even impossible at this point, for me to actually get jealous because I'm so excited about my own stuff. I have noticed that men who are really jealous tend to be guys who don't have a lot going on in their lives. They go to their dumb job, they go home, they have a beer, they watch Netflix, and that's their life. Well, yeah, if you live that kind of life, of course you're going to be jealous because you got nothing going on. Set some fucking goals. Get excited about your life. You'll care much less about this than you think you do. Last answer to this, what you're describing, this possible jealousy, if maybe she has sex or gets sexual with another guy, which she may not, is the one negative. So when you're getting into the non-monogamous world, you are trading this one little negative for 15 or 20 positives. The ability to have sex whenever you want without having to check in with anyone. The ability to not have your balls controlled by a woman. The ability to not have one-itis. The ability to be protected against breakups and divorces. On and on and on and on and on. All of these benefits you're trading for the one negative. Would I trade one negative for 14 positives? Yes, I would. Even if I was a jealous guy, and I'm not. Make sense? That is a much bigger topic. I could go on and on about that topic. I have written several articles at my blogs. You can go to blackdragonblog.com for more articles on this jealousy thing. It's not a big deal, and it shouldn't be a big deal, certainly if you're dating much younger women. All right, moving on. Number 14. This is a fun one. My girl is not like the rest. Get this one a lot. I've had sex with blank number of women, and she's not like any of them. So this is an excuse used by guys who are more alpha males, more players, more pickup artists. Hey, Caleb, you don't understand. I've had sex with 37 women. Like, that's a lot. 37 women. And this woman is different than all the rest. Let me explain something to you. By having sex with all these women, you have now established a precedent in your psyche that you need to fuck a lot of women. So if you try to get monogamous with this woman, guess what you're going to do? What are you going to do eventually? Within a few weeks or months, you're going to cheat. I have worked with numerous, and I mean numerous, pickup artists and pickup artist type guys. That's the world I come from. Who tried this. They banged a whole bunch of girls. They found the one who was not like the rest. They got one-itis. They dropped all the other women. They committed to monogamy, and within a few months, they were cheating they were back on Tinder, back in the clubs, back in the bars, fucking other girls. What do you think happened? They got caught. Drama, 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 problems. In most cases, divorces. In most cases, breakups. It is not relevant. If you have sex with a lot of women, it is not relevant whether or not that woman is capable of monogamy. You are not capable of monogamy. You're not. Sorry, you're not. Number 15. Here's a big one. I have an entire article on this, and maybe I'll link to it in the description below here. What happens if she falls in love with another guy she has sex with and leaves me? Oh my God. I have written an entire article about this, addressing this. I will leave a link to this below. Here's the summary. In a properly managed OLTR relationship, because again, if she's an FB or an MLTR, you shouldn't care if she leaves. And if she leaves, she'll come back. So you shouldn't give a shit. What you're really talking here about is OLTR, your girlfriend or your wife. In a properly managed OLTR, marriage or relationship, I have literally never seen that happen. Literally never. Not even one. Not even 1%. 0%. And I've talked to hundreds of people who have relationships like this. Not once. The times I have seen something like this occur, it is when the open marriage or open relationship is blazingly mismanaged. It is when the man is allowing his wife or girlfriend to go out on dates with other men, to have long emotional talks on the phone with other men, to go on trips with other men, to spend the night with other men. No, in an OLTR relationship, a girlfriend or wife, there are restrictions on what a woman can do with other men. She can hook up with other guys wearing condoms, and that's it. That's all. No dating, no going on trips, no establishing relationships. And when you have that model, I have literally never seen a woman leave a man in an OLTR for another guy she fucked. I've literally never seen it. I'm not saying it's never happened. I'm sure statistically it's happened out there somewhere, but I've never seen it. I've talked to hundreds, and I mean this now, hundreds of couples like this. I've never seen it occur. Not once. If you do this right, you will not have this problem. Either you have never seen this happen either, and you're just fantasizing negatively, you're just pulling shit out of your ass to be scared about, or maybe you've heard about a celebrity example, and I've seen them too, where these celebrities had open marriages and it blew up in their face, they married the other guy. Yes, and in every case, I've studied all these. In every case, the celebrity guy was allowing the woman to actually have relationships with other men. She's just allowed to fuck other guys. That's it. No relationships. That's what FB means. Cool? Cool. And like I said, I will link to the article that discusses this below. Cool? All right. Number 16. My parents, friends, family, close friends won't accept me if I'm having sex with other women. What do you think my answer to that is? Fuck them. Who cares? You think my mom accepted me? You think my mom liked me doing this? No. I've already talked about this many times in other videos. Tell your parents to fuck off. It doesn't matter what they want. And if your friends really have a problem with this, they were not your friends to begin with. I'm sorry. Move on. Get some fucking balls. My God, you wimps. All right. Number 17. Basically, I'm not even going to read the question. Here's the summary of the question. I mean, the question is, what if open marriages, relationships become a societal norm and everyone did this? I will link to the article below called, What If Everyone Did This? It is not relevant to you. That is a philosophical discussion that is completely irrelevant, number one. Number two, there will always be needy people, religious people, irrational people, low sex drive people who try to make monogamy work. Even if non-monogamy became a cultural norm, which I don't think it will, but it could. Actually, I take that back. It will, because at some point, I've written an article about this too, I'll link to that as well. Soon it will be literally impossible to maintain a monogamous relationship because due to technological growth, you won't be able to hide anything anymore. That's a whole different topic. So this is just an irrelevant mental masturbation, philosophical discussion that has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about you right now, today, this year, in your life. Make non-monogamy work or suffer the consequences of monogamy, which clearly doesn't work. Number 18. I don't hear this one too much anymore, but I used to hear it a few years ago. Monogamy has gotten so bad, divorce rates have gone up, cheating has gone up. Most people have kind of come around, but just to be clear, here's a question or an objection I used to get. If you find the right person, you'll never want to have sex with anyone else. Here's what I said. Show me 5 men who've been married longer than 25 years who have never wanted to have sex with a woman besides their wife. Good luck. As I talked about in my books, the part of the brain that desires sex and the part of the brain that has love, romantic love, are two completely different parts of the brain. It serves two completely different functions. Sex does not have anything to do with love unless you choose it to be so. When you think sex and love should be one thing, that is bullshit right-wing societal programming. It is not true. I am amazed that I have to point this out to people in the modern era. All right. Number 19. Non-monogamy puts pressure and stress on women. My answer right here was, and monogamy doesn't? I'll read the answer. What do you think things like long-term monogamy, commitment, traditional marriage, living with a man full-time, and having children will do? These don't put pressure and stress on women? You've never met a woman in a monogamous relationship who wasn't stressed? As I have discussed in great detail at my blogs, women are stressed no matter what you do. Women will be pissed off no matter what you do. You can be monogamous, non-monogamous, celibate, it doesn't matter. They will find all kinds of things to complain about and be stressed about. That's part of being a woman. It is part of the female psyche. It's not something they can even control. That's just how women are, and it sucks to be a woman in that respect. Okay, so this is completely irrelevant. No matter what you do in your relationship, you will put pressure and stress. Or the opposite of that, I've talked about this in prior videos, is you'll put boredom. You'll make her bored, and then she'll dump your ass and go fuck your brother. All right. Number 20. Her friends will give her shit about dating me. Yes, some of them will. So what? I have had numerous relationships, years-long relationships, with women of all ages, where all their friends said, why are you dating him while you're letting him fuck other guys? You shouldn't do that. And these women stuck with me anyway. If you follow the correct procedures, the correct frames, they won't leave just because their friends don't like it. Women fuck guys and date guys all the time that their girlfriends don't like. That's a normal part of being a girl. Number 21. I get this a lot. I hate using condoms. With monogamy, I don't have to use one. As most of you know, I have tracked my entire dating life since 2008 on spreadsheets with great detail, and I recently, about a year ago, I went through the giant list of all the women I've had sex with under these non-monogamous models. It's a pretty big list. And I marked the ones that I had sex with without a condom. Eventually, they got to the point where eventually they didn't need to wear condoms with me. The number of women I've had sex with without a condom is large. It's very large. Now, the number of women I've had sex with a condom is also large. But no, you can reach a point where if you have a trusted partner, STD tests, long track record of responsible behavior and so on, where you can take the condom off. You can do that if you're careful and you're adult, not if you're stupid. Don't be stupid about this. Use condoms on new women, please. Please don't be dumb. But no, that doesn't mean that 100% of your sex for the rest of your life, if you're non-monogamous, will only be with condoms. Do you think I wear a condom when I have sex with my own wife? No, but that's my point. There's been a lot of women I've had sex with without condoms under this model, but I did it carefully and prudently. Number 22. I get less of this one now too, but occasionally I do see this one come up. I kind of like drama because I talk about low drama relationships. I kind of like drama. I kind of like the ups and downs of monogamous relationships. I'm an emotional guy and I kind of get off on that. Here's what I wrote as the answer. Then get monogamous and enjoy your pain. I'll be over here being happy. Here's a big one. This happens. By the way, I'd better not hear you complain in 6 months about all the relationship drama you have. Because that's what happens with these guys. I don't mind drama. I don't think drama's a big deal. Caleb, why do you make such a big deal about not having drama? A few weeks later, a few months later, they're bitching about all the drama they have. Wait a minute, why are you bitching about your drama? I thought you didn't mind drama. I thought you liked drama. It's interesting to see the number of men who say they, quote, kind of like drama, complain about drama just a few weeks / months after they said it. People don't like drama. Unless you're a very bizarre exception to the rule, there is a small segment of the population who I call drama queens who enjoy drama. And if that's you, great. Don't listen to any of my advice. You'll hate it. I teach happiness, not drama. And you can't have drama and be happy at the same time. I've demonstrated this many times in many articles in the past. Number 23. I tried this open relationship stuff once or twice. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. After about 2 or 3 months, women demand monogamy or leave me. Correct. That means your technique is off. That means you're not doing this correctly. If you did this correctly, you would never have that problem or rarely have that problem. You need to get my book at haveopenrelationships.com, The Ultimate Open Relationships Manual. Buy that book, follow its instructions, and it will work for you if you do it. I promise. Thousands of guys have done this. Many of you watching have already done this. You can already attest to this. It works great. This just means you're not doing it correctly. Number 24. Aha, you're selling stuff. Now I can't trust a single word you say. Correct. You should not trust anything I say. You should verify everything I say with your own information and your own data. I've been talking about these topics online for 11 years. I am not someone who just came out of nowhere a few months ago and started selling this stuff and discussing these topics. I work with literally thousands of people, mostly men, a few women, on these topics. These are field-tested models that actually work. Why don't you give them a try before saying they don't work? And yes, if I say something that doesn't sound right to you, please use a thing called Google and verify everything I'm saying. If you don't think the real divorce rate is 76% or around there, that's an aggregate, then great. Do your own research and come up with your own numbers. I think you'll be shocked at what you find. Number 25. I'm going to get Facebook drama. So let's change that to say Instagram drama or social media drama. Like my relationship status, her seeing other women on there, and etc. No, you won't. Not if you do this correctly. I have dated scores of women under these models over the past 13 years, and the grand total number of times I had drama on my personal social media because of what you're talking about, 2. I've had 2 instances in 13 years, 2, and both these 2 were about 10 years ago. So no, you will not have that problem. That is just an excuse that you're fantasizing about. Don't worry about it. If you do this stuff correctly, you will not have that issue. Number 26. I want to have a relationship or a marriage like my grandparents had. I'll just read the answers because these still apply. Number 1, your parents' grandparents were the products of a very different era where men and women were conditioned with very different behaviors. Not you. You are not born and raised in the 1910s. I'm sorry. Number 2, your parents' grandparents were married in an era where divorce was heavily restricted both legally and culturally. Today, divorce is legally, easily, and socially encouraged. Let me repeat that. When a woman decides to divorce a man today, all of her family and all of her girlfriends form a little circle of kumbaya around her and say, you go girl, get rid of that son of a bitch. That is the opposite to many decades ago where all of her friends and family said, oh my God, you can't get divorced. What are you talking about? Go back to him. Okay? That is the era in which your parents and grandparents came out of. Number 3, your parents/grandparents who are still married don't have sex very often. Don't forget about that. I love how people romanticize about how their grandparents are still married after 50 years and it's so wonderful and he's not getting laid. Grandpa's not getting laid unless he's cheating. Last one, your parents/grandparents argue a lot. If they're still married after many decades, yeah. Don't forget about that either. Don't romanticize this shit. And remember, you don't exist in the world that your forefathers existed many years ago. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Number 27, what about love? You can't truly love someone if you're having sex with other people. Again, I don't get this one a lot, but I still get this occasionally. Or if they are having sex with other people. Now, think back to your own life. If you really believe this bullshit, most of you probably don't believe that, but if you actually believe that BS, I want you to think back to something. Did you ever in your life have a scenario where you were in love with person A and you had sex with person B? Either you were cheating on person A or person A just broke up with you and you were single and you had sex with person B. Whatever the scenario was, you were in love with person A, you had sex with person B. Here's the question. Did you having sex with person B make you love person A less? No, it didn't, did it? Love and sex are two different things. They have nothing to do with each other unless you choose to. Matter of fact, I would say that most sex in the Western world does not involve love. And that's fine, as long as you wear condoms. Number 28. I don't want to be hanging around dance clubs and picking up chicks when I'm 45 years old. Great, neither do I. I've been in my 40s for a long time. I'm 48. Do you think I go to dance clubs? You think I spend time going on dance clubs, picking up chicks? No. There's this really cool system you might have heard of. It's called online dating. And through online dating, you don't have to go to dance clubs. You can just pick up women using your phone. It's fucking great. You should look into it. Number 29. This is another one of these philosophical objections. Abolishing monogamy. Oh my God, that's one of the goals of feminism. Oh my God. Here's what I wrote. And it's still accurate today. If those feminists want me to have a marriage where I can go have sex with a 19-year-old cheerleader whenever I want, then that's one aspect of feminism I wholeheartedly support. Hell yes. Way to go, feminism, if that's what they're referring to. But I continue, however, I have a feeling that's not the kind of relationship the angry feminists have in mind. They're likely thinking about a relationship where they can have sex with other men, but their men can't have sex with other women. Obviously, I would be against that. Both parties should be allowed to play around, or the relationship won't last and or won't be harmonious. So that swings both ways. In the Western world, and remember, I'm talking about the Western world. I'm not talking about the Middle East or Africa or China. Western world, you cannot have a relationship where one person says to the other, I'm going to fuck other people, but you can't. I've never seen a relationship that lasted longer than 8 to 9 months under that model. The other person eventually fucked someone else, or they broke up or got divorced. You cannot do that. That is a fantasy a lot of men have. That's not going to happen in the Western world. Okay? And it certainly will not happen to you fucking feminists. Sorry. Number 30. Well, okay, when you're dating, this stuff is fine, but no one actually does this while married and raising kids and stuff. No one? You mean like me and millions of other men who have marriages like this all over the world? Yeah, stupid. 31. Oh, this one's great. I love this one. Traditional legal marriage offers financial advantages such as estate tax benefits and Social Security benefits. You only get those benefits if you stay married forever into your old age. What have I just said? What have I said 14 times already? The real divorce rate in the Western world is around 76%. That means that you will get divorced before such time as your estate taxes or Social Security or whatever bullshit reason you're trying to pull out of your ass will actually kick in. You will get divorced long before that. And again, if you want to get married just for that reason, then fine, get married traditionally monogamously when you're very, very old. Fine. I have a feeling you don't want to do that though. Oh, I say here, betting your retirement system. So what is the inverse of 76%? 24% success rate for marriage in terms of not getting divorced, right? Betting your retirement on a system with only a 24% success rate is shockingly irresponsible financial management. Betting your financial future, your retirement, someone to take care of you, on a system that has a 76% failure rate is stupid. You're being stupid. You're not thinking rationally. All right. Number 32. Most marriages fail. Okay, fine. But most small businesses also fail, yet you encourage men to start their own businesses, Caleb. You're not being consistent. All right. So you need to learn some basic math. I have a whole article about this. No matter what you do in your marriage, even if you're the perfect marital partner, even if you're the perfect husband, you are only 50% of the equation. So you can do everything perfectly and your odds of success can only be maybe 50%. The other 50% is a woman who you're married to who you don't have any direct control over. You have influence over her, but you don't have direct control. When you start a business, is it only 50% in your control? No. It's about 95% in your control. The only thing you don't control in your business is the economy. And even if the economy goes bad, there are other sectors of the economy that do well. You can pivot in your business and focus on them. I've talked about that a great deal. You are not comparing mathematical apples to apples. You're comparing mathematical apples to dump trucks. One has literally nothing to do with the other. You have control of many, many, many more variables when you start your own small business than you do when you get married. Not even close. There's literally no mathematical comparison. Number 33. This one's great. I want to know that my kids are mine. So I would never have an open marriage because I want to make sure those kids are mine. They have this really great invention. It's called paternity tests. You might want to look this up. Matter of fact, they have a test now. It's called an NDOO, I think. I forget. Where they can actually check paternity before the baby is born. Your wife goes in or your girlfriend goes in while she's pregnant, they take a little stuff out of her stomach and they test it right there. And you decide whether or not it's your kid within a few seconds. Barring that, you can buy a paternity test at your local Walgreens for $20. Again, this is not the 1800s, you morons. I love these stupid excuses. You can know your kids are yours within a few days at most. It's not a big deal. We have a thing called technology today that handles a lot of these problems. All right. Number 34. Well, monogamous relationships are better for more traditional people. Atheists, and I'm not an atheist, but atheists have lower divorce rates than religious people. Go look it up. I won't say anything else on that because I don't want to go off topic on this video. Go Google it yourself. And I'm not an atheist. Number 35. Caleb, I know so-and-so who's my friend or acquaintance or family member or guy I read about online who has been married for 3, 5, 12, 15, whatever years, and he's made marriage work, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Let me explain to you something. Traditional monogamous marriage means you are married for the rest of your life and happy the rest of your life, more or less. So if a guy's been married 6 or 7 years, you have no idea if he's made it work. Do you know for a fact whether or not he's fucked other women or gotten sexual with other women throughout that entire marriage? Do you know for a fact his wife has never been sexual in any way with any other man for that entire marriage? How do you know? Do you know for sure? Do you know for sure that they're not having arguments and drama and problems behind the scenes in that marriage? I have been shocked. I'm not shocked anymore, but I have been shocked in the past. The number of marriages that I knew that looked great on Facebook when they're both like this with their kids. And behind the scenes, the guy's getting laid or the wife is getting laid or they're fighting and screaming and throwing shit at each other. You have no idea if he's made it work. Moreover, if you're talking about he's been married for 7 years and he's made it work, is traditional marriage a thing that lasts 7 years then you get divorced? No, traditional marriage is the rest of your life. You need to wait 25 years, 35 years, 45 years, then see if they made it work. My parents just got divorced a few years ago after 46 years of marriage. Did they make it work? All right, number 36. Monogamy was fine in places like India. As I said at the beginning of this video, I am not talking about India. I'm talking about the Western world. By the way, India, and you guys in India know you can verify this because I've talked to a lot of you. Divorce rates in India are spiking. Divorce rates in China are spiking. Divorce rates all over Asia are spiking upwards. Pretty soon there will be nowhere in the world that has low divorce rates. Get ready or convert to a non-monogamous lifestyle, then it doesn't matter. So number 37, and I referred to here at a 63% divorce rate. That is true. That was true 6 years ago. Now it's 76%. It's gotten worse. This 76% divorce rate stuff is bullshit. If you wait till you're 30 or 35 or 40, and or you get married and or marry an older woman and or marry a college graduate and or have your wedding on the winter solstice while the planets are aligned, then the divorce rate drops to only 44%, 30%, 39% or some other number. I published an article years ago, you can read it on my blogs, I'll probably put a link to it down below, that shows all the crazy shit you would have to do to statistically make sure that you would not get divorced. You have to do things like marry a virgin, good luck, marry an Asian woman, so you white conservatives who want to save the white race, sorry, you can't marry a white girl, your divorce rate's too high, you gotta marry an Asian girl, who is a college graduate, who makes a lot of money, but makes less money than you do. I mean, I go through all the crazy stats. You're not gonna do that shit. Let's be honest, you're not gonna do those things. And even if you did, let's say, magically, I'm going to go along with your bullshit here for a second. I don't believe any of this. But let's say you did all the statistical stuff. You married a virgin Asian with a college, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you did all that, and now your divorce rate odds are only 30% instead of 76%. Would you buy a washer and dryer set for $1,000 when you knew for a fact that it had a 30% failure rate? Would you do that? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do that, but for some reason you're going to bet your entire financial future on something with a failure rate of only 30%. I wouldn't do that. 5% I would. 8% maybe. 30%? You're insane. Number 38. This one's great. I've seen this one a few times. There have been studies to suggest that a woman's sexual desire for a man resets and is strong again when she has your baby. So if you just make a new baby with her every 2 to 3 years, you can make long-term monogamy work. Here's what I wrote. So to be with her the rest of your life, you're going to have 15 babies with her? Do you want 15 kids? Can you afford 15 children? Is she physically able to have 15 kids? Even after she turns 40? You're living in a goddamn fantasy world. You're not behaving rationally. Please calm down and turn on your brain. This isn't ancient Babylon. I'm sorry. Number 39. And I'm sure I'll get this. I'll get this in the comments. Hey, Caleb, I've been married and monogamous for X number of years and everything is perfect, so I don't know what you're talking about. Refer back to the question I answered earlier. Just because you've been married for X number of years does not mean you've made marriage work. You need to be married for 25 years, 35 years, 45 years, 55 years, the rest of your life. Number one. Number two, you cannot have been sexual in any way with any other woman besides your wife for the entire duration of your marriage. Otherwise, you've proven my point that monogamy doesn't work. Number three, your wife cannot have been sexual with any other man at any other point in your entire marriage throughout the length of your marriage. Otherwise, again, you've proven my point, monogamy didn't work. Number four, if I sat down with you with a clipboard and started really probing you and asked you some real questions about your marriage and about your happiness, I am quite sure I would be able to find a bunch of stuff that was very wrong with you. Maybe not, but most likely. You're oversimplifying this shit. Number 40, if you're an alpha male, have strong game, use great relationship technique, have a strong, solid frame, you can keep your monogamous woman interested in you forever and you'll never get divorced. Can you keep a monogamous partner, female, interested in you for longer than you could if you were a total beta male? Yes. Yes, you can. Can you keep her sexually interested in you and non-drama with you and non-bored with you forever for the next 57 fucking years straight? No, you can't. So if you're talking about serial monogamy, if you're talking about, hey, Caleb, I just want to have monogamous relationships, but I'm going to break up every year and get a new girlfriend. Every year or two, I'm going to break up and get a new girlfriend. Okay, fine. That can actually work. That's a different conversation for another time, but the question for that is, would you be happy with that for the rest of your life? That might be fine, your 20s and 30s, maybe 40s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you want to get a new girlfriend every 2 years? Will that make you happy long term? Number 41. Well, yeah, monogamous relationships fail, but open relationships won't last either. Correct. All relationships are temporary. The difference is, in a non-monogamous model, particularly an OLTR model, but any other model that I talk about, the damage you suffer as a man is far less in an OLTR or MLTR relationship than in a monogamous relationship. If I got divorced tomorrow, I would not lose a single penny of my money and my sex life would continue unabated. Now, it wouldn't be a happy day, obviously, but my sex life would be fine, my financial life would be fine. If you got divorced and you're traditionally monogamously married, you're fucked. You're in deep shit. A lot of guys never even recover from those things. Whole different thing. It's not that this one works forever and this one doesn't. You could make the argument that no relationship type will probably work forever unless you're already very old. The difference is the damage you suffer when the relationship ends, not that it lasts forever. I have never said, go look at all my blogs, all my books. I have never said, if you do this, your relationship will last forever. I don't do Disney, I do reality. That includes my own marriage. Nothing lasts forever. Unlikely. It's just about the damage you suffer or not suffer when the relationship or marriage fails. Cool? Number 42. No woman over 30 would ever agree to a relationship like this. Well, let's see. Pink Firefly, I met her when she was 34. We were married when she was 37, so you're a dumbass. Number 43. No intelligent woman would ever agree to a relationship like this. I have dated women with genius level IQs. I have dated women who made six-figure incomes under these models. I have dated women who went to Ivy League schools under these models. Long-term, multi-year long relationships. Incorrecto. Number 44. The stats show that married people live longer. Now, there's two answers to that. Number one, I'm not against marriage. I'm against sexual monogamy. If you want to get married under an OLTR marriage, please do so. I am married. Marriage is fine. As long as you can have sex with other women whenever you want, and as long as your finances are 100% protected in case you get a divorce. If you do those two things, get married all you want. That is fine. Number one. Number two, when you look at these statistics, I've looked at a lot of these statistics, they are comparing the typical guy who is married, who is the typical guy, versus the guy who never gets married. The typical guy who never gets married, generally speaking, are the losers, the dorks, the guys who have no people skills, the guys who are not very physically fit. Yes, there are lots of exceptions to this, of course, but we're not looking at the same baseline. It's not because they're not getting married, it's because they're losers, therefore they don't get married, therefore they don't live as long. Make sense? But again, irrelevant. If you want to get married, go ahead and get married. Just don't get monogamous. Number 45. Headed to the bottom here. Getting married is a good idea. Oh, I love this one. This is an American one, okay? So if you're outside the United States, this doesn't apply to you. Getting married is a good idea because it helps reduce monthly insurance costs. Okay. You're going to incur all the risks of traditional monogamous marriage in a society with 76+% divorce rates so you can save $300 a month. Does that sound smart to you? Does that sound rational to you? Well, Caleb, it's more than $300, Mike. All right, let's double the number. Let's triple the number, $900. You're going to incur all the horrible risks of traditional monogamous marriage in a country or society with a 76% divorce rate to save $900 a month. Here's an idea. I'm going to blow your mind here. You ready? Why don't you increase your income by $900 a month? Why don't you start your own Alpha 2.0 business and increase your own income by $900 a month, location dependent? Now, problem solved, and you're not married. I'm a genius. Number 46. Yes, the odds of monogamous marriage lasting forever are very low, but that doesn't matter to the individual. The statistical odds of a guy having sex with more than 50 women in his life are also very low, but you don't recommend that any guy stop from pursuing that goal, right? I've seen this a lot. Again, you need to work on your basic math skills. I already alluded to this in a prior question. What is the variable that you must control if you want to go have sex with 50 women? You have one variable. What is that one variable? You. You have control over you, right? When you are married, what is the variable you have to control? You and her. You don't have control over her. You have influence, you don't have control. You can control you, which means you control 50% of the equation. You do not control the other 50%. You could be the perfect husband and still get divorced. It happens all the time. You can be the perfect wife and still get divorced. I see this happen all the time. But if your objective is to bang a lot of girls, fine. You only have to control one person. You are 100% of the equation, or maybe 90% of the equation, what have you. If one woman says no, you go to the next one, 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 until you get your 50. You can't marry 50 women until you find the 51st woman who marries you and stays married to you forever, right? Learn math. All right, number 47. If you get married, maybe you can save money on taxes. You should go read an article. I'll try to put a link to it below called Being Married is Very Expensive. When you're married, being married drives upward pressure on monthly expenses. Even in an OLTR marriage, even when I got married, my monthly personal expenses went up when I got married. So if you think for 1 second that somehow you getting legally traditionally married is going to save you money, you are a fucking moron. You will spend far more money, not far more money. You will spend more money, and I would bet $10,000 on this. Once you've been married for 2 or 3 years, and you go back and look at how much money you're fucking spending in your personal life versus how much money you were spending when you were single, you'll be spending more irrelevant of any tax savings. Trust me on this. Number 48. I prefer to have one partner because I hate all the things necessary to get a new partner. What am I going to say? You don't need 12 partners. The assumption, what is the assumption behind that question, like many of these other questions? The assumption is I have to have 47 partners. 2. You only need 2. One main partner and one girl on the side, and that's it. You only need 2. If that one on the side goes away, you can, at your leisure, go get another one. It doesn't take a lot of effort, especially if you learn basic dating skills. I have an entire suite of books called the Black Dragon Dating System that shows you exactly how to bring new women into your life relatively quickly and easily and cheaply if you want. But even then, you don't need a bunch of women. Just get one more. If you have one woman in your life, add one more. That's it. That's not a lot of work. I love how guys like to pretend that I'm recommending you have sex with 27 women at all times. You don't. You don't have to do that. 2 is all you need. That's not a lot of work. Last one, number 49. At some point, you need to grow up and commit to somebody. In general, I agree with that. In general, there are men who are exceptions. There are some men who should never get married, who should never live with a woman. But that's an unusual exception. I think you're right. I think most men should eventually, as they get older, way over the age of 35, Do not live with a woman if you're under the age of 35, my God. But if you're over the age of 35, if you've accomplished a lot of your financial goals in life, and you really feel you've done a lot of soul searching and you want to settle down with someone, I certainly did, go ahead and do that. But do it under the OLTR model, where you are not monogamous, where you're allowed to have sex with other women on the side whenever you want without having to check with your wife. Number one. Number two, do so you have a financial barrier in place to make sure that if and when you do get divorced, because you still might, odds are good, you don't lose a single penny of your money in that divorce. It's called a financial barrier. If you go to open-marriage.com, I have an entire book there as well as a video course on how to structure that exact type of marriage. It's the exact type of marriage I have. Yes, settling down, pair bonding, committing yourself to one person is great for older men, especially if you want to have kids. That's fine. Just don't do it under a monogamous model. You will have nothing but problems. And if you want proof of this, look at everybody you know in your personal life who have tried long-term monogamy. Did it work out for them? No. If you need help building these models, these non-monogamous models, which do work, you can go to joinsmic.com. That is my coaching and mentorship program. Until then, I will see you very soon. But really think about this stuff. Don't bullshit yourself about this. Every excuse that I've ever heard, it's right here. Long-term sexual monogamy doesn't work. The only other intelligent option, unless you want to be celibate, is to embrace some sort of non-monogamy, and there's many different kinds. Do some more research on this, calebjones.com, and so on. I will see you very soon.